Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Environment, Regeneration and Streetscene Services Cabinet Board on the 14th of April. We move on to agenda item 1, appointment of chairperson. Can I have a proposer for a chair, please?
Yes, I propose Councillor Spratfield as the chair of the meeting.
Thank you. And a seconder, please.
Happy to second that.
Thank you. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 2, chair's announcements. Good morning and welcome to the hybrid meeting of the Environment, Regeneration and Streetscene Service Cabinet Board on the 14th of April 2023. I am Councillor Scott Jones and I'm the Cabinet Member for Streetscene. A few points to cover before we move on to the agenda item. This meeting will be recorded. Please can you ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting. The members and officers who are present in the chamber, please use your microphones when speaking. When asked to raise your hand, can members who are virtually viewing this meeting raise your electronic hand, and members who are in the chamber, please raise your physical hand. We therefore move on to agenda item 3, declarations of interest. First of all, I'd like to declare a declaration of interest, item 18. It's a personal interest as I've been appointed by the council to the Wild Fox Committee, and I believe this is the same for Councillor Peters.
That's correct. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. I'll just confirm I'll send a declaration of interest form for you to fill in after the meeting.
Thank you, Chloe. And we'll complete that and then
I think I'm able to declare interest on item 19. I'm Governor of Glenhondden and Henry Wyland is in my ward.
I'm gonna bring Joe in. Joe, can you just confirm if they have dispensation? Is that okay? Them to stay in the meeting?
Is that already on your register of interests? Do we know?
Glenhondden is, yeah.
Well, I would suggest we would declare that in any case, just for transparency.
Would it be personal? Would it just be personal interest, Joe, or is it prejudicial?
What is the that would depend on the recommendation, I think. Let's see.
Does everyone just so that we've got? I'll just go to the recommendation now. 1 second.
Could you help me with what?
Well, we can't just because it's the private report. So I think it's just because, is it just in your ward, Councillor Griffiths? Is it just because?
Well, they're both in my ward. Both schools are in my both schools are in my ward, and I'm a governor of Glenhondden. That's why I brought the subject up.
Right. Okay. Did you get that, Joe? He's
yes,
a governor,
yes, I heard
and
that.
one of the schools is in his ward.
Sorry, I just needed to know which agenda item number we were referring
to. It was
please.
agenda item 19.
19, right.
Which is the second private report.
Just conscious because they've been making a decision and I think it's weird.
Yes, I would probably be erring on the side of caution there in Cyprus's decision.
So when it comes to the agenda item, Councillor Griffiths to step out for that item?
I believe so, yes.
Right,
yes,
no problem. Councillor Griffiths, is that okay? So when it comes to agenda item, if you just leave, that's the last item on the agenda anyway. So you can, and we've got 2 cabinet members to make the vote anyway. We'll go to the recommendation. Is that okay?
Right.
There we are then.
Right.
great, thank you, Chloe. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 4, public question time. I can confirm that we've received no notifications under this agenda item. Therefore, we move on to agenda item 5, advertisement of traffic regulation orders, traffic capital programme 2023 to 2024, active travel schemes 2023 to 2024, individual parking places IDPP 2023 to 2024, Welsh Government 20 miles per hour default speed limit national rollout 2023 to 2024. The report is on pages 5 to 20 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thanks, David. Members, any questions or observations? No. Okay, therefore can I refer members to the recommendation advised on all 4 schemes which are on page 8 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder, please?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, it will be assumed that you're in favour of the recommendation. I'm now going to ask Chloe to confirm that's the case.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation has been approved.
Thanks very much. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 6, revocation 31 per hour speed limit order 2023. The report is on pages 21 to 40 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing further to add, Chair.
Thanks, Dave. Can I ask members if there are any questions, observations? There are none. Okay, therefore I refer members to the recommendation on page 27 of the circulated agenda pack. Have a proposer, please.
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And the seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hands, and assume that you're in favour of the recommendation, and therefore I can ask Chloe to confirm if the item has been approved.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I confirm that recommendation has been approved.
Thank you, Chloe. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 7, revocation and 30 miles per hour speed limit order 2023. The report is on pages 41 to 56 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Local members are in support of overruling the objections, Chair, so there's nothing further to add.
Thanks very much, David. Members, any questions, observations? There are none. Okay, therefore we refer members to the recommendation on page 46, the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hands, and assume that you're in favour of the recommendation, and therefore can ask Chloe to confirm the item has been approved.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation has been approved.
Thank you, Chloe. Okay, we move on to agenda item 8, revocation and 30 mile an hour speed limit order 2023. The report is on pages 57 to 72 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thanks, David. Members, can I ask if there are any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, I therefore refer members to recommendation on page 62 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate the contrary by raising your hand, and assume that you're in favour of the recommendation, I'm going to ask Chloe to confirm that item has been approved, please.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation has been approved.
Thank you, Chloe. Okay, agenda item 9, revocation of 30 mile an hour speed limit. The report is on pages 73 to 88 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Obviously, Chair, officers are responding to the observations made. There is going to be a revised scheme tabled here in response to the observations. Other than that, there's nothing further to add.
Thank you, David. Can I ask members if they have any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, therefore I refer members to the recommendation on page 77 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation, and I'm therefore going to ask Chloe to confirm that the item has been approved.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation has been approved.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 10, revocation of 30 mile an hour speed limit order 2023. The report is on pages 89 to 102 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments on the report, please?
Other than to advise that, again, this one is going to be re-advertised. There are some minor extensions that the communities have asked for on the 20 mile per hour exemption. Other than that, we're happy with the recommendation, Chair.
Thank you, David. Okay, can I ask members if they've got any questions or observations, please? There are none. Therefore, I refer members to the recommendation on page 93 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I ask for a proposer, please?
Propose, Chair.
And a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hands, I'd assume that you're in favour of the recommendation, and I'm going to ask Chloe to confirm if the item has been approved, please.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation has been approved.
Thank you. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 11, list of approved contractors. The report is on pages 103 to 116 and is your decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing, Chair.
Okay, David, members, do you have any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, therefore can I refer members to the recommendation on page 105 of the circulated agenda pack? Can I have a proposal, please?
Second thoughts, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder, please?
Second, Chair.
Thank you. I'm now going to ask Chloe to confirm that it's been approved.
I see no hands raised indicating to the contrary, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation's been approved.
Thanks very much. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 12, memorial safety testing policy. The report is on pages 117 to 144 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments, please? Thank you, Chair. Thank you, James. Members, any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, therefore I refer members to the recommendation on page 122 of the circulated agenda pack. There are 3 separate recommendations and I take them in their entirety. Can I have a proposal, please?
Second thoughts, Chair.
And a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hands, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And then therefore can ask Chloe to confirm if the item's been approved, please.
Yes, thanks. So just to confirm, Councillor Peters proposed it because I don't think your mic was on, sorry. So just wanted to confirm that for the recording. I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, so I can confirm that recommendation has been approved.
That's great. Thanks very much. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 13, Waste Strategy Action Plan. The report is on page 145 to 228 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if you have any further comments to add to the report, please?
I think at this point, Chair, if I could ask that the recommendations from scrutiny are pasted into this chat, because obviously we've changed meetings. And then I guess we work through the recommendations individually.
Yes, I can confirm I've just popped them into the chat. I think it'd be useful if I was to read them out as well, Chair, just for clarity, once you've asked if officers have got any further comments to make or any questions from the members.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I have made a note of it. Any further comments from officers? Mike, Chris, anybody?
Not on the measures that have been in the chat.
On the current, we're going to go into the recommendations after this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, any questions, observations from members? No. Can I at this point just take the opportunity to thank Mike, Chris, Nicola, Gary and the department for their efforts in developing such a large waste strategy. We look forward to working with you in the future. Also like to take the opportunity to thank the scrutiny chair, members of the scrutiny and the task and finish for their important contribution as well to such strategy. Okay, on the amendments, I'm going to ask you to come in at this point now, probably just so that we can go through each amendment and then call in officers then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So as you can see from the circulated report, there was 10 separate recommendations to be approved. In scrutiny committee, the scrutiny committee made an amendment to the recommendations on 3 of the separate recommendations that were there. So if I read them out first, and then Mike, if you wanted to come in at any point, just let me know. So the first measure that was amended was measure 5. So this now reads as measure 5 is approved with consideration of using the material storage bins for presentation as suggested by the scrutiny committee. Then measure 11 is approved and notwithstanding the suggestion made by scrutiny to the contrary that, notwithstanding the suggestion by scrutiny to the contrary that there be no deferral of consultations on a potential move to 3 weekly refuse collections. However, the consultation be carried out as a phased approach. And then the last one that was amended was a communications protocol be developed to secure engagement with the public generally in relation to obtaining feedback on waste services, be the work being undertaken through the established citizens panel and during customer touchpoints within the service. So at this point, Mike, did you want to come in on any of those points?
Yes, I think on the first item, measure 5, my recommendation to members, as in the report, doesn't change. But what I would be happy to do is to implement the storage boxes as proposed and consult specifically on the issue of ballot boxes as part of the consultation on a potential move to free reuse collection, and then review it again. So then we'll have experience of using the boxes, and we will have more detailed consultation of from all the public.
Yeah, councillor Percy.
Yeah, just for clarity from my point of view, in terms of the amendment to Measure 5, I think the committee recognises officers' concerns around the practicalities of the using it as a presentation bin. I think the word consideration is there, just as long as we've got assurances that as this moves forward, that consideration will be taken, then I think we'd be content with that. So I think you've kind of covered that off in your explanation.
And I'm happy to do it again as part.
Yeah, so I think that covers that. That would be consideration of it. So I think that's fine.
Yeah, okay, I think on that basis then, the Measure 5, the consideration, the consultation being a phased approach, and then of course the public engagement for quality assurance feedback. I think the Cabinet Board are content to support them 3 recommendations. Okay, so subject to the approval of them recommendations, can I therefore refer members on pages 163, 164, and to the top of 165 of the circulated agenda pack. There are 10 separate recommendations, and I take them in their entirety, in addition to the recommendations made from scrutiny.
Yes, that's right, Chair. So the scrutiny, the amendments that scrutiny made become the substantive recommendation. So you'd be approving the others that are there, including the 3 that was amended.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, therefore, can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And the seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. I'm now going to refer you to, members who do not indicate to the contrary by raising their hands and assume that they're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm therefore going to ask Chloe to confirm if the item has been approved, please.
I see no hands raised, Chair, so I can confirm that has been approved.
Thank you. Okay, therefore we move on to agenda item 14, local area energy plan project. The report is on pages 229 to 238 and is here for information. And ask officers if there's any further comments to that, please.
No further comments, Chair.
Thanks, Simon. Members, do you have any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, as previously mentioned, the report is for information purposes only, therefore we'll note the report. We move on to agenda item 15, South Wales Regional Civic Engineering Contracts Framework. The report is on pages 239 to 258 and is here for information. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to that, please?
No further comments, Chair.
Thanks, David. Members, any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, as previously mentioned, the report is for information purposes and therefore has been noted. We move on to agenda item 16, urgent items. I can confirm that I have no urgent items today. Therefore, we move on to agenda item 17, access to meetings, exclusion of the public. Members, at this point, we have to consider the information contained within the private reports. Can I ask if members are in agreement to move into private session? Therefore, can I ask for a proposer?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder, please.
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hands, and assume that you're in favour of moving into the private session. Can I ask Chloe to confirm if there's any objections to this, please?
I see no objections to this, Chair, so if you just bear with me while I stop the recording, and I can confirm there was no public in attendance.
Thanks very much. Okay.